Well, I know there's a lot of questions or comments back and forth. Hey, we already had QE. How come the metals aren't flying upward? And considering it was an announcement of quantitative easing, unprecedented, with no end limit. In other words, it's going to go 40 billion a month till something gets fixed. Well, there is a reason why things haven't been flying upward, and it's really the basic common sense reason why things don't fly upward even when you produce a lot of money in any economy is because the ones that have the cash are hoarding it. They're hoarding cash. That is actually the reason right there. It's like if you had in your, except it's banks. I mean, it's not the middle class that's being injected with cash. If they were injecting cash into people who are physical silver buyers, I mean, there would be a rampant increase in physical silver buying and a price movement upward. We would not be holding all kinds of fiat dollars, but the banks are, and they're being rewarded to do so. The Fed is doing everything in its power to keep them from going into other areas and holding U.S. dollars, providing any kind of incentive there is. Now, the way I look at this, as commodity prices tumble down or whatever, I don't think silver's going down to like the 26, and I don't even think it's going to go below 30. That's what I'm thinking. It doesn't make sense in a lot of ways because what would happen is, well, basically this. I mean, say for instance, we're a dozen people here, and somebody up there, Ben Bernanke's giving us $10 million each, and we have to hold dollars. Now, as you see the price of silver going down, even if you're not a silver bug, or the price of gold go down, or whatever, oil, or whatever it is, you're tempted to buy that because you might think it's a good deal. And that's what I think is going to happen. You're going to start seeing some breaking of the ranks and more speculation start taking hold. And then that is going to start, well, it's like the breaking of the dam, as I said many times before. The central bank always tries this policy of stimulating the economy. They pretty much always do this, stimulating the economy through the infusion of cash. They had a little more cash, they had a little more cash, and that's his whole intention, is to get the economy rolling. But what happens is eventually all that cash comes out behind a dam and it starts seeking hard assets. And once it gets rolling in the real economy, forget about it. The price goes to the moon. Well, I don't want to say that because I don't think silver is going to some of the crazy astronomical numbers some of these guys are putting out there. It could happen maybe in a good 2 or 3 years. Don't go expecting like $200 silver in 2013 or some garbage if it goes up to 75 or more. They'll always state it's going to go double. That's the danger of listening to some other people. Now, in a case of gold, silver, it's still, I guess, something. Well, it's about flat today. I mean, some things are pulling back a little bit. Oil's pulling back a little bit. The Dow's moving up. Maybe we're going to have a bounce here. Maybe it'll drift a little bit lower. But I would tend to think after a hard move down like it did yesterday and recently, it could move down a little bit more. But I still don't think it's going down into the 20s for silver. Now, I want to point out something else. Nobody's really looking at oil for a long period of time. There's an ad here. This is a chart, public chart. But looking at this whole trend since 2009, you could almost consider this a bullish flag. This whole giant thing, a bullish flag. I mean, sometimes you really can't place a lot of faith in the charts, but sometimes some of these more main indicators, and sometimes looking at more back and sitting back and looking back a little ways, you can see what it means. And it really hasn't broken below to 75 or 77. It seems to always been bouncing off that. Right now it's a little bit below the 200-day moving average. That's another sign that things can start heating up again. And I want to also, the one thing I really think, quite obvious other than charts, what's going to bring up oil is war in the Middle East. Whenever that war with Iran comes about, it's interesting to note that Boeing came out with a new weapon and they've been working on it for 4 years, from October of 2008, and they just finished it. It's an electronic bomb, basically. It knocks out all cameras, televisions. It destroys everything. Goes along a certain flight path, and then it destroys itself in midair. What's designed to do is to actually pave the way for um, a plane to come in there like a fighter bomber, and they can't detect it. In other words, all their electronic surveillance equipment, everything, from radios to televisions to monitors, the whole deal would all be destroyed. Now, considering they publicly just stated they tested this, you know, what do you think they're going to use? What did they use in other wars in the Middle East? They used a stealth fighter bomber, right? I mean, people didn't even know what the hell it was till it was pulled out. Well, I could pretty much state that, if they have something like this, the war with Iran is probably going to go pretty fast initially. I don't know what would happen after the fact, because that's usually what happens is after the fact, But it seems that once that occurs, though, you're going to see a lot of pressure on the metals going way to hell up. You're going to see oil, gold, silver fly up, and that type of stuff. But I do have to warn people. Like, say, for instance, we see this super spike in oil going up to $150 to $200 a barrel due to war with Iran. Don't expect it to stay up there. I mean, really. I mean, they're going to be telling you 300, 400. The sharks will tell you that. They'll give you crazy things out there. Well, yeah, now that all the oil is destroyed, it's not going to go that high. But, looking at this bullish flag here, I mean, if you're looking at it from here to here, I mean, that pretty much brings it up to about maybe 175 a barrel. So, that might actually be playing out. It's like kind of hard to look at this and look at a daily chart and look at daily price movements, but when you bring things out over a long period of time, and considering what's going to happen with Iran, you're probably going to see a major move to the upside in oil, major move, and that's going to bring up gold and silver. And that probably should be, if it gets way ahead of itself, that should be your selling time. And, personally, I'm not going to sell all my silver. I'm probably not even going to sell most of it, but, I can't see anybody saying, buy on the dips and not sell on the peaks. I mean, really. I mean, I just can't understand that advice. Just buy on the dips and hold forever, because we're going into this cataclysmic, death spiral of the economy. And then, the only thing you're going to have to spend in the future is silver. That I don't see at all, period. I think silver's going to stay up there for a while, and it's probably going to be a very good long-term investment. But we're not going back to a silver-based economy or something like that. That's not going to happen. I know a lot of people get mad at me for saying that one, but that ain't going to happen. I just got to put it out there and be very honest about it. That's not going to happen. We're not going to be going around with silver coins, and the only ones with silver coins are going to be filthy rich. That's what a lot of people like to hear, the whole silver coins. I'd like to hear that too, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But what probably will happen, if we do have a cataclysmic crash, I mean, we're probably going into global war. So if that happens, I don't even want to think about that, just like you guys. And to tell you the truth, if that happens, you should really be preparing yourself in a lot of common sense ways with food and water and energy and all this other wonderful stuff, because silver coins ain't going to be the thing that you really think about it. What do you do during the day? You have electricity, you have transportation, you have food, and you have other communication and that type of stuff. You don't really deal with your silver so much. Silver's a very useful commodity, and I've always been pointing out there is one super duper commodity out there that I think is the savior of the world. That's hemp, industrial hemp, and also medicinal marijuana. So I wish we could get rolling on that, because I would like for that stuff to be 110% legal, because bam, I'd be growing that left and right, to tell you the truth. If that was legal, I'd be growing that stuff left and right. I think that's a fantastic plant, because we can get a hell of a lot out of it in so many different areas, from not just fuel but also from medicinal purposes. So, silver's not our only answer, but just to sum up what I really put this out here for, how come gold and silver and platinum and palladium are all flying through the roof? It's because the banks are hoarding cash. They're getting more cash, but they're hoarding it. It's like, we have a bunch of little shops out here in XYZ town or whatever it is, and there's a lot of filthy rich people out there not spending the money in the shops. Well, they can drive the prices down. That's what's going on. Once they start competing for, I need this, I need that in the shops, and then you could start charging them more money. So, once they want to get rid of their toilet paper cash, but until that such time, but I think they'll start breaking ranks. They will. They will. I can't see it, like, in other words, if I was a bankster and somebody was, giving me all this money, like millions and millions of dollars, just to keep and hold and just to invest in and keep in U.S. treasuries, I'd be sneakily breaking that rule one piece at a time. I'd be going into gold and silver and things like that. So I'd imagine they're doing that too. But like I said, that's what happens. At first, the dam starts like a trickle. It starts to break like a trickle. And once that money comes out, you're going to see your asset prices fly through the roof. QE is not over with. QE was announced. QE is going. Let's see how much they can hold back the dam. I kind of doubt it. That's the game they're doing. They're trying to hold back the dam. So, things are on the way up. Don't let them fool you.